Hey, everybody, the quad is open. The lecture hall doors, there we go. The lecture hall doors have opened here at Salem University. Come on in, folks. Class is about to begin. There's a lot to cover. But first, attendance. Matthew, here. Kat,
Here.
and of course, Professor Angela.
Always here.
All
Because if
right.
I'm not here in the first 20 minutes, you guys get to leave.
Well, luckily we made it just
the day.
we made it just under the wire. Not 20
Yes.
minutes late today. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah.
But the land of Salem is on fire, both in real life and fake life. Uh, well, I guess they put out the fire in real life, but the fake life
Yeah.
fire will burn forever because it's a soap opera.
The truth.
Good, lots of fun on the show this week. Eric stuff, Brady stuff, Lee stuff, Alex stuff, Abe stuff. But before we get into that, we have to talk about the producer stuff. Because over the last couple of weeks, it has been very well known out there in the soap world that there's been some controversy behind the scenes. Hey, Susan. Hey, Jeannie. They're both here as well. Attendance.
Love it.
You are not tardy.
No. Controversy, issues, allegations, inappropriate language, inappropriate gestures, playing favorites, making an uncomfortable and toxic work environment for your employees, setting yourself up at the top of the heap by letting go of people who previously did a job so you can just do it yourself. All sorts of different things that have come to light, and a lot of controversy from one particular producer from Days of Our Lives. And if I understand it correctly, he was the showrunner, the head honcho, the man on the very top of the heap.
He was the co-executive producer, but for all intents and purposes, he was the only one.
Who's the other person?
Yes. The other one, I believe, was always Ken Corday, who owned the show.
So
his parents created the show.
Okay, producer by name, but not somebody that's actually there running the day.
Yeah. And just like the woman who was promoted, she was promoted to co-executive producer because he's still in his job.
Because that'll be the job. It seems to me, the co-executive producer.
Yeah, well, for now.
We'll see. Maybe,
apparently, there's more machinations going on behind the scenes.
No, I mean, I don't know anything yet. Of course, you would tell us because you're the teacher and you're going to inform us here today.
Yes.
But, I would imagine NBC Peacock might have some opinions or something that they might have to say since the situation got so public.
Yeah, Peacock and Sony distributes it, and NBC Peacock streams it. The scuttlebutt around the water cooler is that they want to buy out Corday.
See, I did hear something about that. It seemed like just crazy, excessive rumor to me.
Well, there are actors who have come forward and said that they went to Corday years ago with all of this about Alarr, because this has been going on for a very long
time.
Buying that for so long, you would think that
it's Hollywood.
It would come to a head earlier.
Yeah, the thing is that he keeps the show under budget and making money, and that buys a lot of grace. And Days of Our Lives has no HR department and hasn't for many years. So if cast had an HR complaint or crew had an HR complaint, it went to the, wait for it, producers and executive producers, which he was the guy.
Can't complain to Alan about Ken. Can't complain to Ken about Alan. There's just nowhere to go with this other than to public and to burn your career alive.
Allegedly, Alarr used to make jokes. He'd say something inappropriate or do something inappropriate and then immediately go, good thing we don't have HR around here, huh? So he knew. Yeah, he was.
He's just rotten, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. So the rumors are that the scuttlebutt is that Sony Peacock want Corday gone because Corday allowed it for so long. And I could believe that.
Okay, great.
You know, makes sense. I don't know. I mean, I think Corday will dig in his heels as he tried to about Alarr. However,
It's not
They
going to
don't
work
have
out.
to contribute a show.
When I like I said earlier, I did a little before we went on. I
Yep.
said something about, I looked into it a little bit yesterday, and I saw that yesterday they indeed tried to like talk to him and kind of like smack his hand.
Yes, sensitivity training was first ordered.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're looking at, oh my goodness, that's so dumb. Come on.
Right.
Because everybody goes through sensitivity training. It doesn't do anything to the individual about their sensitivity. What it does is cover someone else's butt.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been schooled.
Yes, we taught him. We took him aside and we told him what he did was wrong, and he learned about what he did was wrong, and then he said he's not going to do it anymore, so we're going to keep him around.
I mean, it's just been so long of so blatant. He didn't even try to hide it. There's an Entertainment Tonight clip of years ago. They had covered Chloe and Philip. They just a little thing with the pairing of Chloe and Philip, and they did some behind the scenes stuff. And there was behind the scenes footage of them rehearsing for a love scene. And in this footage, Alarr says to the actor who was playing Philip, "Let me show you how it's done," and jumps on top of the actress on the bed. I mean, and that's on. And then he knew this was going to be on Entertainment Tonight. Just
Blatant and
It's
extreme.
just insane. But some people just think
Clearly
they can
he
get
felt
away
untouchable.
with it. And he did for a
He
long
felt
time.
untouchable and was untouchable for a long
And
time
he
as
was
well.
for a long time.
Instead of something happening to Alarr, star after star after star found themselves off of the show, either because they confronted him about his behavior and said, "We don't need to renew your contract," or because you just simply didn't like them. I think, I saw something out there that Carson Boatman, I guess, has taken a big nosedive in his appearances on the show recently as Johnny, because of tension between him and Alan Alarr. So his personal opinion is affecting the show. He's not making creative choices for the strength of Days of Our Lives. He's making choices based off of, how he wants his life to be.
It was his own little fiefdom.
Yeah.
It's
nuts because I feel like
yeah.
of I don't know, because it's soaps are a bit of a silo of entertainment. It's isolated from the rest of Hollywood, and as such, I feel as though it's easier to find yourself the king of this fiefdom than maybe somewhere else. Like, you can't do this in a Shonda Rhimes show. There's way too many eyes on it. But it gets away. He got away with it because it's soaps, because it's soap operas, because not as many people are watching it. Because when SAG gets the phone call, apparently it's not that big of a deal to them, as much as they would like to say that soap stars are just as important to us as everybody else. I think we've seen evidence that is just lip service that we have gotten on Twitter for one particular SAG-AFTRA negotiator.
Right? Or, I mean, they're not even giving lip service today. The silence on this one, the silence has been deafening.
I don't
from
understand
some
it because
who are so outspoken.
I've seen other people say, "Thank you, Fran Drescher, for dealing with this." But as far as I understand it, Fran Drescher didn't get personally involved.
No, I've heard rumors that she started looking into it on like Thursday or Friday, but I haven't heard anything that actually backed that up.
I don't see why she would take her time right now to go deal with this personally.
And the thing was is that originally Corday wasn't going to fire him.
It seems
obviously. The punishment had come down that he was going to get his hand slapped. And then there was the big outroar. They paused production. As soon as they paused production for the week, they didn't come back from their break. They had said, "We're pausing production for one more week." I said, they have to be replacing him. That's the only reason there would be. Exactly. Yeah. The only reason there would be to replace him. So I think that the choice to replace him was made when they were pausing production, when they chose to pause production. They just didn't say that. They had to figure out who it was going to be. They had to figure out, the best way to show him the door legally.
Legally is probably the biggest thing here.
Right. He's going to sue them. And if they had conducted their investigation and fired him after that, he'd have no grounds to stand on legally. Now, He might, you know what I mean? Which is ridiculous. He shouldn't, because
But
the
they did
punishment
say he
was
gets
not
to.
enough.
But Corday said he gets to continue to work there, and then
Exactly.
he couldn't get away from the bad press and changed his mind.
Right, exactly. So now Alarr is probably feeling pretty empowered about a lawsuit. So we'll see what happens. But I don't think, even if Fran Drescher was there at the end of the week, that choice had already been made.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't.
I would agree.
And what's really funny is that Charles Shaughnessy works on Days of Our Lives as well. He hasn't been on for a while, but he's been, and I'm sure familiar with the Alarr situation.
I know. Just what does he have an accent on there too?
Yes, it's Shane Donovan is.
I believe it's his thing.
I love it.
And him and Fran Drescher,
of course,
are close friends. So
you would think, huh?
Nanny fine.
Yeah, so I think that I'm not breaking any arms to pat her on the back, because I don't think even if she went, she had no effect on anything. The choice to replace him, the choice that they were going to replace him, was made when they decided to pause production.
I would agree with that as well.
Because there was no way, what did people think they were going to try to take the week to talk the cast and crew into keeping him? That wasn't what it was. It was to put somebody else in charge.
Got to figure it out. You got to figure it out.
Exactly.
Got to figure out how to show like you said, show the door to Alan in a way that is going to be the least problematic legally. You really can't just walk up to somebody, especially when there's contracts and deals and all that kind of stuff in play and guarantees and all that kind of crap. You can't just walk up to them in Hollywood and say, you know what, you're fired. You can't. Right. There's hurdles to jump through and lawyers to talk to and documents to sign.
Right. And there's also the fact, Alar's wife works for the show.
Yeah, Jeannie said so in the chat here. She's a writer.
She is. But nobody knows what her status is at this point. Was she fired too? We don't know.
UGA? Is she on strike?
No, she actually. Oops, sorry.
Your Apple Music library.
Okay.
Siri thought I was talking to her, apparently, but I wasn't, Siri. So that's an issue. Plus, he wasn't just the executive producer, he was also one of their directors. So there was director schedules that they had to reconfigure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Things like that. There's a lot of moving parts behind the scenes on a soap opera. Yeah. Well, I mean, on any production, there's a lot of moving parts, but
these are these are moving parts, but they're also moving at super speed.
Exactly, because of the amount of content they have to put out. Days has more of a cushion than everybody else because they shoot 6 months in advance. But even with Days, yeah, sure, they shoot 6 months in advance. But if they want to keep that schedule, they're going to have to find a way to make up this time.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that it's a schedule like any other.
So all of this,
and they don't have the 6 months like they did before because of the strike.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, because they still do. They're still moving on.
Oh,
they've had scabs in place.
Okay.
Day after strike, same as everybody else. Ron actually said that. He gave an interview soon after the strike started and said,
"But GH is the one that got in trouble."
Of course.
It really depends on what news outlet, because there's certain news outlets that are focused on certain news articles or certain, I don't know, different ebbs and flows of the world out there. And this particular news source, I think, was tied into the particular writing group, the particular writers, maybe potentially even the makeup of the writers in some way.
Yeah.
draw their attention. And since they saw those Instagram posts, they turned it into a news article, which ignited the world when it came to General Hospital specifically. But if somebody else had come across what Ron had said a couple of months ago about, we're using scabs now, and then that was published by a larger news publication or was noticed by someone who was on strike, like this particular instance was with General Hospital, then Days of Our Lives might have been under just as much of a spotlight.
Well, because the funny thing is that the solidarity is really more going one way. And when Ron said that, it was only the writers on strike.
Right.
So what did the actors care?
Yeah.
Now they're both on strike. So, oh my God, they're writing? It's horrible.
Oh, yes. Oh, gosh. The writers also must be taken care of now that we're on strike, too.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
But
It's
all,
just,
yeah,
it's an entire,
it's a
I
thing.
support both striking
Of
unions.
course.
But there are members of some of them that are working my last good nerve.
Listen, I had one
You
dealing
know what
with
I'm
one of
saying.
them. I'm good with
Yes.
it. I don't need to get back into it. I'm happy to report with what's going on. But
Yes.
when it comes to talking on Twitter, I think I'll avoid that for now.
Hmm.
Anyway, all of this, all of this Alarr stuff, the 2 weeks it took for it to, and this only happened over 2 weeks. Everybody, it seems as
Yeah.
though this has been such a big problem for so long, and it's been talked about so much, and it's inflated to such a huge issue that it feels like it's been going on for like 2 months.
Yeah.
But really, it took less than 2 weeks for this report to come out and for Alarr
I
to be
know.
shown
I mean,
down.
I think it broke what? I think deadline broke it June 25th.
Something like that. I remember it wasn't the
Yeah.
thing when we did our
So
first podcast.
it's 12 days.
It was
12
not a
days from
thing when we
today. Yeah.
podcasted first. It was a thing when
Hmm.
we podcasted second, and now it's over.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what happens, what cast members will be willing to return.
yeah, people
And
spoke up. Brenna Sofer spoke up. Other names that I don't remember. I just know Brenna Sofer the best.
Lisa Rena and stuff like that. Yeah. A few others have as well, but um it'll be interesting to see. And now, of course, people are calling for the problematic cast and crew who allowed for this to be gotten rid of too, but I'm not sure that's more nuanced because he
That's
was
what I
all
had.
of their bosses. He was all of their bosses.
The morale there must be absolutely in the toilet.
Well, the cast there is actually pretty close because a lot of them are so long term. So they're kind of, you know what I mean, and us against them had that, but I think they're feeling pretty good right now.
Good. I would
Although
hope
the
so.
cast had asked, because the cast had done a petition and they had asked for one of the other producers to be named executive producer, also a woman, but they went with this other one who, I mean, I have no issue with her. She's been with the show
Like 30 years or something like that, right?
forever. She knows it really well. She seems well respected, well liked, has a lot of, so
It's
I
like if
think
Nika
that,
Garland had moved up to
yeah,
executive producer.
yeah.
Not necessarily MK Weir, because she's been around and around and around.
Right. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Janet does.
So her background is Days of Our Lives.
Right.
Okay.
And I am a big believer, right or wrong, that the executive producers and head writers of soap operas should be women. They should. They're not. And that's, I think, one of the biggest problems with soaps is that, there are plenty of men who watch soap operas. But traditionally, it's a genre. Right, but
listen, Angela, I know best. Okay, I know how the world operates, little lady. Okay.
My point, though, is that a lot of the men who have watched soap operas have watched
because of our mothers and grandmothers.
With
Okay,
their mothers and stuff. So they watched in the heydays of soaps when more women were
probably gay. Not guaranteed, but probably.
Possibly. But my thing is that it's a genre that was intended with a specific thread going through it it was a genre made for women.
It's called soap operas because of the commercials for soap.
Exactly.
Well, even if you take like the domesticated housewife thing away from it, it's more feminine in its presentation. It's more feminine in its storytelling. General Hospital is probably the most masculine of all of the.
It is, soaps. And it's also the one that has been mostly run by men in that time.
So yeah,
and and I think that one of the biggest problems is it's missing. Can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth. I hope my daughters don't hear me or get struck down from my mother, but it's missing a woman's touch. It just is. That's every soap. All the head
You
writers are
heard it here
men.
first, folks. Angela has been resisting the woman's touch her whole life and now has finally admitted here on this day, August 6th.
It's not that I've been resisting the woman's touch.
Page
It's
card
just a
61.
very horrible laden, my daughters would probably say, repressive statement. But that's not how I mean it. I mean that it's,
No, I understand. Like what you just said. It's feminine in its storytelling, and if you have a bunch of masculine thinking in there, it's not going to exactly breed the
exactly.
results of
Thank
that the
you.
audience
That's
is
what I'm
necessarily
saying.
wanting or needing, or if they want to
That's what
earn
I'm
the
saying.
audience that has been traditionally the soap audience in the past, they have to continue to present stories in that same vein. And the best way to do
Exactly.
that is to have somebody who knows how to write what they know, which is
Right.
somebody who has lived a female perspective their whole life.
Right.
Now, that doesn't mean there's not room for dudes, though, okay?
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt, there is room for, because these shows are, not just for women, and there's room for every voice. But, like, for example, the General Hospital fans constantly call for more romance, more romance, more romance. And the General Hospital head writers go, all right, sex scene. And we're like, okay, that's great, but not what we meant. Because that's an example of more male thinking. Romance, sex.
Yes.
And it's women are picturing something different.
That's
Yes.
good. Now, we can transition now into actual plot stuff with that, because that's good. Because if you take it's 10th floor, we're going to talk about both. Who cares? If you take like Jocelyn and Dex, for example, you can't deny that that's a passionate relationship.
Very
Undeniable. I think at the point where they were starting to rub ice cubes all over themselves, I had started to get over it. Just when it comes to that presentation of their passion. But you switch over to Days of Our Lives, and you have like the growing now relationship between Lee and Trask.
Yes.
Where I feel this incredible pull between these two characters, and they haven't even touched each other.
I'm loving it. And I've never, neither of them were ever, Trask I've always thought was really funny and great and a strong character and stuff like that. But she was always an ancillary, kind of a, very much a supporting. But I am loving Lee and Trask. I'm like, I need more of this. I need more Lee and Trask.
They're just so magnetic
He
together.
seems like a nervous little boy to me when he's with her.
Yes.
And I guess that's pretty different than what we've gotten from Lee in the past when it comes to his just uncertainty about it.
Yes. Yeah. I
me.
love this. And I like that they're really fleshing her out more as a character and giving us more of her. And I love that relationship. Okay. I really do. I can't see. Can't wait to see.
How long has Miranda Trask been around? Miranda, right? How long has she
Melinda.
been around?
Melinda. Melinda Trask. Give me a moment.
A few years.
She's been around for a while because she's been the DA.
Okay, but she's been just a background DA, kind of popping up every once in a while.
She's been more of a background character for a long time.
Is she related to anybody on the show? Does she have a family on the show?
No, she had a daughter, but her daughter died.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Well, no, this is a date. She's just somewhere in a cave or something.
Okay.
She's in a box somewhere.
But I know that Lee and Wendy are brother and sister, right?
Lee and Wendy are brother and sister.
Yeah. Lee and Wendy are brother and sister, yes. And their dad occasionally shows up, Wei Shin, and he's very domineering and he's a major stockholder, a board member on DiMera. Really cracks the whip and has big expectations. And
so they depict him culturally like a typical, very staunch education. Yes. You got to do this, you got to do that kind of dad.
Yep. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
But we thought she was her sister. I'm not sure what you mean, Jeannie.
Who is her sister? Oh, her daughter? Yes.
Oh, her daughter. Okay, so Melinda thought that her daughter was her sister, but it was her daughter.
The audience did.
Oh, gotcha. She was lying. Lying DA. Anyway, but now she's going on dates and she's having courtside bench conversations, I guess, with
Sloan. And yeah, they're making her friends with Sloan, which is an interesting Trask was introduced in 2013, so she's been around for.
She's been around 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations.
And they didn't
getting that
and
promotion.
they didn't give her much of a family. That's kind of weird. 10 years.
Yeah,
well, I mean, compared to like Taggart over on General Hospital, he's been around or had been around for a while, and he had like a sister.
Yeah.
Pretty much just like what Melinda had, you know.
Right. Yeah. So. Okay. But yeah, I'm enjoying that. It's going to be interesting to see if she's going to really be able to keep this secret for Sloan, because Melinda is very, very law and order.
I'm so used to watching the other one that I expect her to get a recording and hold on to it for 6 months, trying to decide if she's going to give it to somebody or not. I just don't know if... Well,
I think this is part of them, because the thing is that, Lee's denying that he was involved in trying to kill Stefan. And while he wasn't the one who, it wasn't his idea, he was, in fact, involved in brainwashing Harris to kill Stefan.
Oh, he was.
So, see, I didn't know that.
And Melinda's trying to get him to confess to that, and he's swearing his innocence. So this is going to be a problem for them down the road. So maybe this whole thing with Sloan with Melinda is to move Melinda away from that hard line.
Because now she knows, right?
Sloan told her. Who can see. Yeah, Sloan told her the truth, and Melinda promised to keep the secret.
There you go. There's that gray area you were just talking about.
Yeah. So I think that this is to give shades of gray to Melinda so that they can do the Lee and Melinda thing.
Now this stuff with Eric is just off the wall insane, okay? First of all, Eric is going to have a different face coming soon for a little bit. Tomorrow. Okay, so Greg Vaughn.
Eric has a different face because Greg Vaughn got COVID and was out for a little while. He was actually hospitalized. It was really bad. So he was out, so we have
He's fine now. It was 6 months ago.
Yeah, it was 6 months ago. That's the one thing about Days is that it happened. It was forever ago. Days will wrap up storylines before you even knew the actor was there.
Yeah.
Before he even airs for the first time. He's already gone because it's been 6 months.
Right.
It's crazy.
So for a little bit, do we know who the new face is?
Yes, it's Jason. I want to say Gerhardt is how you pronounce his last name. Soap Opera News has an article about him.
The actor who played Coop on GH, says Jacarius.
He played who?
Yeah.
Coop.
He's real handsome.
I don't know who Coop is from General Hospital. I didn't watch at that time, but okay, all right. So different face for Eric coming soon, but that's all right. Greg Vaughn, he'll come back once he recovers. After he recovered, he'll be back right there on the same stage. Do we know how long it was? A couple of weeks, couple months?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks.
Great.
Yeah.
I wonder how much heavy lifting he's gonna have to do in that storyline because it's heating up. So Sloan is telling people. People having nightmare dreams. The other one, I don't know. She's starting to get frantic about things as well to some degree because her test results were missing.
Mm-hmm.
No, there'll be a moment. There's going to be a moment where she's like, something's off.
Oh, yeah.
She already feels that way. She's just not embracing it yet. She already feels that way.
Because does she know that it's Eric's baby?
Nicole does not know that Eric's baby. She really believes that it's EJ's baby.
Well, there you go.
Man.
That's why she's in denial.
Man. She was bed hopping that day.
Well, she was drugged. She was in love with not in love with at the time, but living with EJ and having a relationship with him. And her and Eric got drugged biscuits.
Hallucinating biscuits, which is why they had that scene before with that other lady in the square talking about stuff. I think she might have made the biscuits.
I'm gonna.
I don't know.
You disabled participant screen sharing. I was gonna show a picture of Jason Gerhardt.
Oh, let me see if I can figure that out.
Okay.
I think I made it so you can do it. Anyway, whatever. I think. I don't know.
Yes, I see it. Hold on. Where's my? Just had it up.
I'm curious. I want to see this man. I think Coop was with dating Lulu or Maxie.
It's coming up. Hold on.
Oh, there it is. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh me, oh my. Oh me, oh my.
Yeah, he's a fatty.
I have no idea what's being broadcast right now. Oh yeah, he looks enough like Greg Vaughn. I can see it.
He does.
I don't know what YouTube can see.
Yeah, he looks a little bit like Greg Vaughn.
I'm with it. Yeah.
So, all right. stop sharing.
Listen, I don't know
so
what people saw there, but it was a picture of that man.
yes, it was a picture of our guy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, he
So
looks enough like him, so that's cool.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
a good move
And he
physically.
can act, and it'll be fine.
All right,
It'll
great.
be okay.
All right, it'll be good. Well, hopefully he doesn't do too
I
good of
don't
a job.
remember who said it this week, but somebody said some crack said some crack about how he used to be a priest.
Eric used to be a priest, yes.
And now he's a
Eric was a
bartender.
priest.
I thought that was funny when they said that.
Yes.
So Eric has parents as well, it seems.
He does.
He has a mother and a father.
Marlena.
That's
Yep.
right. That's right. It's Roman.
Yeah, because
that's
he's
right. That's
Sammy's twin
Roman.
brother. Yes.
That's right. Okay, so we met
And
Roman this week.
and the fellow that plays Roman, he must have been on forever because I do recognize him.
And he's also
He's been on this show forever, right?
Yes.
He's the Robert Scorpio of days. Just old.
And his wife, she's been on the show forever too.
Okay, so
actually, there's a lot of forever castmates on that show. There's a lot.
Well, good for Days keeping characters and actors around forever and ever and ever.
Yep.
Oh,
And when they
Days
leave, they
keeping
bring them back.
around along with that jerk that used to run the place.
Yeah, they never get rid of anybody, no matter
Thanks,
what.
Jakarius. We love having you here too. So we met Roman, which is well, I met Roman for the first time. I knew who Roman was. I knew who Roman was because I know that John isn't Roman. Okay, and I've known John, and I know John, or I know John.
Yes.
Roman, entirely different. I'm not going to do an impression of Roman. I find that would be disrespectful. He can't control that.
Yeah, he's got a
he's got a worn out voice. He's been an actor for so long. He's gotten to the amount of words that he can speak clearly. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just an observation. I mean, it's an obvious observation, right? But it's anyway. Anyway, it's nice to see that he's got parents and they care. I mean, he was a passionate man.
They don't like that. They don't like Sloane much.
No. Sloane is not. She's not like evil. She's not like, but she's not a good girl. She's problematic and continues to be so.
So the actress that plays Sloane, did she? I'm not sure. I thought I saw. It might have been somebody else. Did she really have a baby recently?
No, she just got engaged.
Okay, so her pregnancy was not written into the story. She's not pregnant for real. Oh,
not that I know.
Somebody else. Then that was somebody else I saw a picture from another show. Okay.
I have no idea who's really pregnant, and if they were pregnant, it was 6 months ago.
No, like months ago, she actually had posted from her dressing room, and in the background, in a closet, her pregnancy pillow pad was hanging in the closet. So everybody's like, "Oh my God, Sloane's going to be pregnant," because.
Spoiler alert.
The fake belly was there.
We saw fake belly. We saw
was in the background, and then she deleted it real quick when people started asking. Mom, so fans miss nothing.
They're perfectly round and just I don't know. They're good. They're good. We saw one in person. We poked it soft.
Yeah, we did.
This week we're gonna see Sarah's, which is just I can't stand the baby belly they have on her. It just looks so bizarre. I'm just like, she literally looks like, with this baby belly, the bee that came to life, like the letter B that dances on Sesame Street, the lowercase b coming to life. It's just bizarre. Just like, really? I've never seen a pregnant woman look like that. And I have, just in my family alone, 9 million children. But
Jakaria says that I have a feeling that Sloane is going to lose the baby, and that's something that Angela has said as well. And this week they cursed that poor child. When John and Marlena or whoever, or Roman and whoever.
Why are you telling people so soon?
Yeah, why are you telling people so soon? I hope everything's going to be okay. Oh, he's going to have a healthy baby boy. Like, that kid's going to die, and that's unfortunate.
I think so too.
That's really unfortunate. But with that, we'll turn that into a Days of Our Lives lesson. How real do they get in these moments? How often do they reach into something of epic tragedy like miscarriages, abortions?
Nicole's had many miscarriages, and the Days actors can bring it with the drama and the sorrow and the realistic pain.
Because I haven't really seen it yet. They haven't had any
Yeah.
stories that are hyper realistic at the moment.
You're gonna see it coming up
Because of John Aniston?
because Victor's death, because of John Aniston's.
That's coming out this next week, isn't it?
Well, it starts next week that like his plane is missing or something. He went to go visit Bo and they're like, oh, the plane's missing, but they don't know yet. And then the following week, they find out that he died. And that's going to be, I think it's probably going to be very emotional for the cast anyway, because of how
he was on the show forever.
Long he was on the show, how close so many of them were to him. And yeah. So that will be.
I guess we will see them bring it in the heavy tears department coming very soon.
Yes.
Now, of course, not without controversy as well. Just Days of Our Lives, a controversy magnet over the last couple of weeks. Jennifer Aniston very unhappy with how they're.
I don't think that's true.
Somebody said that Jennifer Aniston is very unhappy. It was page 6.
I would find it very surprising if that was true, because one, she understands television. And they couldn't, I've seen a lot of people going, why couldn't they let him go peacefully in his sleep or a heart attack? Because that would, then people would be like, well, why aren't we seeing them mourn his body, cry over the body and an open casket and which they just couldn't do.
Right.
This makes sense because they have him going to visit Bo in the long-term care facility. They've been talking about that for a while. And plane crashes happen. It's a fact of life.
I personally don't see a problem.
So I think, I don't think it's disrespectful. I don't think that it's, it's not like they're having him die robbing a bank or something, committing a crime.
Turns out he was on the phone swearing his daughter.
And like with General Hospital Epiphany, they had her kind of like die as a hero, trying to help.
Right.
I don't know if Victor Kiriakis is a hero.
I think his character was in a different stage of his life to write something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What you do is you get the most drama out of it is always the right choice. And it's still an accident. It's not like he was murdered, and that would be completely different. If they murdered the character, that might be, on the line.
The thing too is that, I said to somebody, I said, who was saying that they, felt that it was disrespectful to have him die that way. I said, I think the show showed him the utmost respect by letting him continue to work as long as he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
He literally worked up until the time he died because that's what he wanted to do. And they never said, no, let's go ahead and close the book on this now so we can wrap it up this way for the fans and, you know what I mean? They honored that wish of his.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been in declining health for many years. It wasn't like he could do a whole lot. And and they had written for him.
Was he like nearly 90 years old?
Yeah. I think he was 87.
Very old man. Well lived life.
And they had stuff written for him after his death that they ended up having to change because he had died. They had fully intended to keep him as long as he wanted to be there,
mm-hmm.
which I think was the ultimate respect they could have given him, is not putting him out to pasture.
And somebody who's given their lives to soaps, like John Aniston has, playing this character on the same soap. I don't know if he ever went anywhere else. I don't know of anything else he's done myself. But for somebody to give their lives to soaps and to then not have the character's death be impactful or create story or create drama or to launch something forward would be more disrespectful. To just have him go, oh, well, he went softly in the night and we're sad.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't how John Aniston would have wanted Victor to go. I don't think.
I have really high expectations. And I think that Days will meet them as far as,
mm-hmm.
His send off, his funeral and all of that. It's gonna, his death will reverberate across the entire canvas in Salem and it'll be a, town-wide event. It really will. It will impact a lot of people, some most negatively. Some people will be like, thank God he's dead, because they hated it. You know what I mean? And I think that they'll probably play into those, which he would want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He leaned into his role.
Yeah.
And then it's also going to spark a lot of fun returns. There'll be people coming back for the funeral and things like that. And it's going to launch off a few really cool arcs,
Can we get
which
zombie Vincent Irizarry again?
probably not. But
Oh,
we are getting Vivian home and Philip home, which is going to be really great. And I think they'll have a few more in store for us too, which is going to be, you'll like Vivian.
Okay.
You're going to like Vivian,
Okay.
Louise. Yeah, she's fun.
I look forward to it then. Okay. No, of course, this is going to be the second string of familiar faces walking through Salem, because as it stands right now, Harris is on the tour of old faces in the loony bin.
Yep, and we're getting Jason and Carly in the multiverse, in the Salem multiverse this week.
Yes, we're getting Jason
Kicking
and Carly.
that off. I can't tell you how excited I am
Harris and
about
Ava. Oh, yes, you're a big.
Harris and Ava. I am here for it.
Angela's
So
the
is he-
biggest Jason
she's-
Carly fan.
Is she going to be in the
She's in
with
Bayview.
him?
She's
going to be in Bayview too?
That's how they wrote the character off when she left last year.
Because they sent her to
She
the
went
loony
crazy, and they sent her to Bayview, the nut house, and we
Mhm.
hadn't seen her since. So as soon as they said Harris is going to Bayview, my spidey senses started tingling, and I went, "Is it Ava?"
bin. Jeannie reminds us that Wally Kurth plays Victor's nephew Justin on the show, so probably get some good Wally Kurth stuff next week.
Yes, we will. We absolutely will.
But before Harris runs into Ava or whatever her name is, Eva, or what is it, Ava? Is it
Ava.
See, soaps in the same names. I don't like it. Anyway,
Yes.
before he runs into Ava, he already ran into Blair from One Life to Live,
Who plays Eve. And when Steve Burton was first on Days of Our Lives as Harris Michaels, it was back in the late 80s.
Yeah, and they had a comment. They were like, "Oh,
It was
high
his very
school."
first. Right, they were in high school, and it was just a short arc. Eve was in high school. Before that, she was Charles Shaughnessy's character Shane's daughter, but he didn't know. It was a long lost, and she had been a teenage prostitute, and she comes and lives with her dad, and she's trying to live a normal life. And
So
this
they showed her
guy,
back then. That was something we saw.
that's
That
her backstory, kind of when she came on. Yeah.
okay.
She came on as like the teenage prostitute, and then they realized
They just
that
basically took all the Steve Burton scripts from the 80s and dusted them all off. There was a writer that read all of them and said, okay, this is his plot, this is his plot, this is his plot going forward.
So Harris Michaels
Did
was
Cassie
like,
play her back then?
no, Cassie didn't play her back then. Charlotte Ross did. And I was really hoping we were getting Charlotte Ross back, because she had been making some noise on Instagram, but apparently not. I don't know what happened with that, because she was available, but I don't know. Maybe there was an Albert Alarr issue. Hard to say. But Cassie has previously played her when she has shown back up before. Cassie has played, Cassie's not new to the role of Eve.
Mm-hmm.
So he made her think that he liked her and wanted to date her, and really all he wanted to do was have sex with the prostitute kind of thing. And it was
pay one. You don't gotta wine him and dine him.
okay. Well, he was a mean teenage boy. I don't know what to tell you, but that was his
movie Milk Money. Did you see that Milk Money a million years ago?
I don't think so.
It's a very, very, very specific reference. I think Ed Harris is in it. I can't even tell you who else was.
Yeah.
But it's about a bunch of little kids. Oh gosh, who else? Anyway, it's a bunch of little kids that find this prostitute, and they're like, oh, we're gonna buy this prostitute, and we're gonna see some naked ladies for the first time. It's cute, coming of age. It's not dirty or anything.
Yeah.
It's presented in a respectful way. And then she winds up being the prostitute with the heart of gold, and becomes like a mother figure to these kids, and yada yada, and everybody lives happily ever after. Anyway, that was the reference. Just finishing it off for you guys. Who else is in that dang movie? It's somebody famous. Whatever.
Yeah.
You'll be Googling after the show.
If the chat was more full like 10th floor, then I would already have my answer.
Yeah.
But thanks for everybody that's coming. Jeannie's here now, by the way. Jakari has showed up. Kaiwan contributed. Kaiwan still wants to talk about Sammy, but I guess we're going to wait until Sammy actually shows up.
Yeah. Sammy's great. Sammy will be show for weeks. delve into Sammy's backstory.
We're just warming up when it comes to Harris. This was the warm up. This was the I'm now in the loony bin. Hey Cassie, you want a paycheck? Come on through.
Yes. And I'm wondering if we're going to see her pop up. Or if this was just like a one-off thing. I'm not sure. We'll see. But, Ava's back for a while and they're doing the story with her and Harris. There are rumors going around, which I'm not sure how they would do this. There's rumors that they're going to retcon him into being Tripp's father instead of Steve, which would be real interesting. But we'll see. I'm here hey, I have already seen spoiler pics that have warmed my Jason and Carly heart over the next few weeks. I can't wait.
Cassie and Steve didn't have no chemistry at all, says Jacarius.
Well,
Jacarius
I don't think they were really
has
intended.
A very fine taste in chemistry.
Yeah. I don't think they were really intended to, though, because it seems like Ava's story.
All I can see is Jason and Blair. That's fair. That's fair.
Which is, Jacarius, that's why I'm so excited about, Harris and Ava. Because I'll be seeing Jason and Carly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which, that's my one true ship. That's my
That's the one. That's the one
my
that she's going to go to bed on.
My one true pairing. Yep.
By
my
the
ride or
time General
die.
Hospital is over, she's hopeful that Steve Burton is back so they can give it another go. All kinds of different stuff.
So Steve Burton's going to be on the show for another 6 months?
Or longer, right? Because
his contract is up in September. His contract's up in September, so he'll air until March. So there's a really good chance if he comes back to GH in November for November Sweeps, which is what my prediction is, he'll be airing on both shows at the same time. Which will be funny.
Happens. Everything depends on where Disney's at when it comes, or at least the General Hospital production. But I think when it comes to the overall Hollywood mandates for vaccine requirements and COVID
GH
testing,
already dropped theirs.
Did they already drop theirs?
GH dropped their mandate
so
in May.
We're back to normal. We're back to normal.
We are back to normal.
When it comes to it. Okay.
GH dropped their mandate.
Well, then the door's
They
open.
wear a mask all the time?
Nope. It's over.
They're not even. I mean, I don't even think they're doing them in rehearsals anymore like they were. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think so. I haven't seen them in the rehearsal stuff for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're just at
back to usual movements. Which is I mean, cool. I mean, we've gotten the vaccinations. I mean, the vast majority of that cast is vaccinated, so I think it'll be all right. Plus, I think we've gotten a little more practice too, with just kind of keeping it at bay a little bit. Either that, or just it's not newsworthy anymore, and we just don't hear near enough about it anymore. I don't know. But it sounds like the door is open again if there was interest in both parties, because that still has to be a thing too. All kinds of people like Matt Cohen. See, I wish I could make more Days of Our Lives references. I just don't know them yet. But Matt Cohen, who played Griffin on General Hospital, was recently
fired
let
from
go,
Entertainment.
laid off from Entertainment Tonight.
I'm not one who thinks that fired is necessarily always a bad thing. So whatever,
he's no longer working for Entertainment Tonight. And so, of course, the immediate response is, well, we can't wait to have Griffin back. But there still has to be interest in story and all sorts of different things that also need to line up, not just
I'm not sure what story they'd be for Griffin, because I think the last time we saw anything from Griffin is when they did that one-off at Christmas, having him call Spinelli's ex-girlfriend Ellie, right?
Yeah, well, they can easily break up.
And it was just like his picture on the phone.
He comes to town. They break up. He comes back to town, finds out Anne is his mom, and they can go from there. But that's a different show.
Yes, Anne is his mom.
But that's for the 10th floor coming up later today.
Right.
Yes. That's for 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We are waiting for Charlie. I don't know what that means.
Alternate universe.
Oh.
Alternate universe. AU Charlie.
Got it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we are,
Michelle.
baby. I'm here for it, Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm so here for it.
Well, it seems to be something that people are genuinely excited about. As soon as he was deprogrammed and was like, I'm going to Bayview, then immediately I saw the response.
Everybody was
I
like,
I can't wait.
Bayview.
She's definitely coming back. When do we get to see Ava? When do we get to? It was just so obvious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Ron can't resist himself. He can't resist it anyway. The head writer. He loves poking any fun he can at GH. He loves giving the finger any way he can to GH because of what happened with his leaving.
Well, what happened with his leaving?
Him? Did he get terminated
they
from
did. They terminated him, and the day he was fired, a certain actor who plays a certain mobster,
prominent mob boss,
released a video of himself dancing in celebration and posted it online.
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was really shitty of him. Sorry.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry for the swearing. It was. But yeah, so yeah, Ron has some bad feelings towards GH, and like, I mean, making Harris a Navy SEAL when Jason's twin was a Navy SEAL, having him do that big monologue about how he's not a hitman. Putting him in a leather jacket and the black T-shirt. I mean, of course he couldn't resist. And we're probably going to see a lot. I'm planning that we're going to see a lot of winks and nods towards the Jason and Carly relationship in Ava and Harris dialogue. I swear to God, if he tells her to count to 10, I'll just die right there on the spot. I'll be.
Tells her to count.
That will be. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if they indeed did do that.
In my heart,
yeah, they're going to play pool at a dive bar. It's going to be, yeah.
They're going to hit all of the.
I mean, like seriously, they're going to, yeah. It's going to be.
Oh, girl, this is going to be all written just for you. I tell you.
It is. And let me tell you, I have been a Jason and Carly fan since the night they met, May 1996. The night they met, this has been my ship. I deserve this. Okay.
Even if it's not really Jason and Carly, you still deserve
it. Angela's been pining for the two of them to be together.
You have
like your 10th
no
birthday.
idea. Yes. You have no idea.
Matthew's birthday's in April. He'd have been 10 years old that year.
Yeah, I wasn't 10 years old. I was a fully grown adult because I'm 49, but it has been a long, long time.
I'm so young.
Yes.
I'm so young and vibrant.
And then if I get them both on the same show or both on different shows at the same time.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God.
We get Jason and Carly in Days, and then Jason comes back
to
General
Harris
Hospital.
And Ava
and then
yeah.
Then they got Jason and Carly on General Hospital.
I'll just be like, nobody will be able to. It'll be a permanent grin.
And she's already giddy. Can you imagine what she's going to do?
Oh, you should have seen me when I saw the first pictures on the press site. I was like, yes. So excited. Yeah.
So we're all laughing
and
in this world.
She wasn't even my favorite Carly.
Oh.
She was my least favorite Carly, as a matter of fact. She was my least favorite of the Carlys. But, I mean, it's not that I think she's a bad actress. She was just my least favorite of the Carlys.
Is she your favorite Ava Vitale?
She is. She's amazing as Ava. And Ava's really funny. Ava's a mobster.
Oh, is
She's
she?
from a mob family.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay.
This is like, I'm like, no idea how excited I am about this. It's really not natural. I should probably speak to my therapist about this, but there's so many other things we got to deal with first.
You remind me of me. That's all. When I get excited about something, Ma can attest, I'm sure. When I get excited about something, I get really excited about it. I've probably watched the Star Trek musical 5 times, and it launched on Thursday. So
there's no problem with that. Because here's the thing. There's so much shitty stuff
really
in our day-to-day, in the world. If you find joy in something,
heck yeah.
Suck every drop of that joy you can. Why not?
Do it. But while you're sucking all the joy out of sucking every drop of joy out of something that you enjoy, don't then tell somebody that the enjoyment that they're sucking is bad.
Exactly.
I don't steal anybody's joy. If somebody likes something and gets pleasure from something, even if I don't like it,
this is the weirdest, almost innuendo conversation.
I'm not even trying for that. But seriously, people like what they like. I don't agree with every pairing. I don't like every pairing, but I know they all have fans on every show.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If that's what you enjoy, then enjoy the hell out of it. And no one else has to enjoy it for you to enjoy it.
No.
Somebody not liking what you like doesn't make it doesn't invalidate you liking it. If you like something, like it, and who cares what anybody else thinks?
I promise there's somebody else out there that likes it too.
And
I
even
promise.
if you are the only person, who cares? Enjoy it.
Well, that too. But even then, like, don't even feel like isolated and alone, because I promise you, there's somebody else out there that likes what you like.
I agree. Every pairing has fans. Every character has fans. When you see people go, "Oh, everybody hates this," I'm like, no, they don't.
No, you and your friends hate this.
There are people calling for Wes Ramsey to come back to General Hospital.
We need Peter back.
There are people who want him to come back as Peter. I mean, and hey, what?
And a lot of people hated Peter.
As long as you don't get your joy from skinning puppies or something like that, take your joy where you can find it.
Just be clean.
Yes, exactly. There's no harm in liking a soap opera couple.
It's a total joke. I'm so sorry. Don't be offended.
All right.
And if you are offended, I apologize.
Michelle's feeling what I feel about the count to 10, right?
Yes. Oh my God, I would love it if Eris tells Ava to count to 10. DiMera was the first Carly that Chikarius remembers. I remember Sarah Brown. That's a different show. I've only known one Ava Vitale.
Sarah Brown was on Days of Our Lives for a while too.
Who did she play?
She was.
Did she also play?
Who was her character on Days? I can't remember. Hold on.
It was very important. She wasn't important.
She wasn't on for like forever, but Anybody else? Anybody remember Sarah Brown's?
Oh, they'll say it.
I know. I'm sure they will.
At some point. But whatever.
Yeah,
she's good. I want her to come back. I like
Madison.
Madison
James. Even the third one.
2011 and 2012. Her name was Madison James.
That's a good
soap name.
I
know, right?
Madison James. That's a good soap name.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. But of course, you turn it around. James Madison is one of the presidents that we had in the United States. So maybe that's something to do? Do we have a Lincoln Abraham coming through? Washington George. See, Washington George. That could be a name.
Washington George would be a good. I'm thinking for our movie. Our movie that we're gonna write, Matt.
Oh my God, we are totally gonna write that thing. That thing sounds so fun. That movie. I already have. Your pitch. I've already expanded.
I had a feeling that you would dig that idea.
And we're gonna pitch it to Hallmark, and they're gonna spend no money on it, and it's gonna be beautiful.
It's gonna make it even better.
I know. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I want this as a made-for-TV thing.
Yes. No other way. We're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
You've got the connections.
Yeah.
And the talent and the ability and the ideas. I'm just here to encourage you.
Yeah. But the original idea was you, so you're in this with me.
Heck yeah.
Let's put together, buddy.
We'll make it work. I guess Abe is moving out. I don't really know what to say about all that. Those crazy kids will be fine.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go from here? Back together. They'll be able to date again. It's going to be beautiful. They're going to have moments of romance. We're going to see Jack A trying to control herself and not be overbearing, and it's going to be comedic gold because she's.
It's going to be great watching Abe and Paulina fall back in love again. I'm going to look forward to that.
I like the depiction of his memory loss in which he's still open to like, okay, you're my kid, like not to keep on comparing to the other show, but. The lack of resistance, because the amnesia storylines I'm used to seeing have a lot of resistance in it.
Yes.
No resistance from a breath of fresh air. Nice to see. I'm looking forward to them falling back in love, like we had said.
Yes.
So I don't know what's happening with those kids though. Apparently none of them live in Salem.
No, Chanel lives in Salem, but Lonnie is in prison.
Right.
She had gotten furlough for his funeral.
Yes.
So now she has to go back to prison, and Theo lives in South Africa, doing work.
So
good work.
Did he just blow through, or?
Well, no, they came back because they thought their dad was dead, so they were coming back for the funeral and stuff, and
stayed. But he doesn't regularly come back to Salem.
No, he's an occasional. I mean, before Lonnie went to prison, she was regularly there. She was a police officer on the. Soap opera inept police force.
See, this is what I'm not used to yet. This is something I'm going to have to get used to with Days of Our Lives when it comes to a incredibly part-time character.
Yeah.
You know, like Alani, you know, who perfectly reasonable would come in, and it's not this big what to do, because this is what happens on our show is if it makes sense for this character to be there, they're going to be there.
Right.
And we can afford it. Like I was thrown for a loop this week because I learned that Tripp was Gwen's cousin.
Yeah.
And he wasn't at that wedding.
No one was at that wedding.
Didn't
It was
Demetrius marry my cousin?
Yeah, Days is
Dolores.
weird as far as like big, like General Hospital, Young and the Restless, they'll have big, huge group events that everybody's there. Days, I mean, I guess Stefan and Gabby's engagement party, they had a really big group, but they don't tend to have big
They had more people.
Victor's funeral and stuff will be big events.
Yeah.
I noticed that, like with the wedding last week, opposed to a month ago when I saw Harrison go in there with a gun, there were more people in the room for that than there was for the weddings.
Well, you know, somebody pulls a gun at the engagement party. You going to the wedding? I'm not going to the wedding.
Whoa. That makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. That makes perfect sense, actually. I love that.
Right?
I love that. I absolutely love that. Dolores loves Abe. Was really uncomfortable when Nurse Cuckoo drugged him, but gives credit to the acting. Yeah, I mean,
Kim Coles was phenomenal.
Just nailed it. We talked about it a lot last week, actually. So check out last week's Days for Dummies, Dolores, and you'll get the whole exploration of crazy Nurse Whitley and all of that. Alex continues to be inept and not shirtless, but inept.
I noticed this week, like, a lot of the men didn't have a shirt on. A lot of them didn't have a shirt on.
even when they just look like regular people, like Lee looks like a regular person without a shirt on, and they're still just like.
And I noticed that too, where like on the other network, everybody is so physically fit without a shirt on.
Yeah.
These folks over here on Days, they're not necessarily. I mean, I'm talking like they look ordinary. Okay, they don't look all
right.
They don't
look like that.
Days is really good for the equal opportunity being naked thing. It's funny too, because when I interviewed Peter Porte, who plays Dimitri, I did an interview with him before he started airing, and we were talking about things. And he's like, "It's really." He had already been there for months, obviously, because it was like the week before he started airing. And he was like, "It's really funny." He goes, "I'm shirtless a lot." He goes, "More than I really think I need to be, but there it is." He goes, "There's been a couple times I've, been doing a scene and been shirtless for most of it, and then noticed that there was a shirt on the bed and went, oh, why didn't anybody tell me I was supposed to put that on?" He goes, "But then I think maybe I wasn't supposed to put it on." Yeah, that's just kind of Days' thing, you have no shirt on.
Okay, I'm
yeah, and like
I'm there for it.
And half the fellas are in between the wax appointment. They're stubble.
They're just hairy men. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's in now. That whole like completely bald thing was the early 2000s. Now we're back to chest hair.
Yeah.
But I guess the last thing, because we could talk about gay people forever. Dimitri and Leo and Confessions and Tripp in the same bed, and it just wow. And there is no space in Salem. Holy crap, there is no space in Salem. They're even double booking hotel rooms now.
The apartment hunting, that poor Brady, they've all been trying to find apartments, and it's just Salem used to have this apartment building that like everybody lived in. It was hysterical that everybody lived in this huge, I guess it was demolished, I don't know. Condemned, who knows? But everybody lived in one apartment complex. But
Abe and Paulina still live there.
It's insane. But like, there's a housing shortage in Salem.
So just go buy a house. Well, that's it. The housing, DiMeras have driven housing properties so high that nobody can buy one anymore. Yeah. Everybody's forced into an apartment, so there's none available. It's just a mess. It's a mess in Salem.
Which is amazing because the DiMeras can all live in their, 10,000 room mansion. They don't have to live anywhere else.
And, and then while we're talking about DiMeras, while we're talking about developments, while we're talking about that house, I guess it'll have a new permanent resident pretty soon, huh?
I I know I'm in the minority, but I'm excited that Kristen got full custody of Rachel. I really am. And I thought it was great. I love Brady and Kristen. I ship them. I want them back together. I know that there's, a lot, and Kristen's a bad person, but it's a soap opera, and I excuse a lot with soap opera characters because you have to. But I loved when he went to her after the hearing and was like, we came here with an agreement for shared custody. And she was just like, oh. And it was a moment of sweet because he has, if it had been a reverse situation.
He deserves this?
In my opinion, I kind of think he does right now I know Kristen's bad, whatever, but it's not like Brady is
Kristen is not as guilty. Kristen is not as guilty as Brady is accusing her of.
Kristen is incredibly guilty of almost in this thing. Instance. No, but she didn't take Rachel from camp.
She didn't take Rachel from camp.
But Rachel, Kristen is guilty of many, many things. But Brady tends to whitewash his own sins. He really does. Brady tends to, overlook his misdeeds quite a bit while, and if the situations had been reversed in a million years, he wouldn't have entertained even letting her see the kid, much less. But I loved the whole, when she was like, you'll be able to see Rachel. Of course, it'll have to be supervised. I was just like, and the thing is that Kristen won't actually keep him. Kristen still is in love with Brady, and she won't keep him from Rachel. She's not going to, hand over the custody, but she'll let him see Rachel. But I loved her shoving it in his face a little bit because he's been a little bit too self-righteous. And, and her whole, I know how this feels because he's done it to her a million times. And I watched you try to make Chloe Lane her mother. I never did that. Yes, you did. You did.
You did. Angela saw it. I didn't, but Angela saw it. She'll know.
She sure did. She sure did gloat, She sure did. Shoved it right in his face.
Yeah. Because, it was just, their daughter ran away from camp and ran to her because she wanted to be with her mother and see her mother. And then, and then Kristen, used it to try to get joint custody. She wanted shared custody with her daughter. And Brady agreed to that, but then instead pulled a gun on her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, and there was the whole, yes, Kristen, with the, Kristen, he blames Kristen for Marlena's death, although Marlena's not really dead, because Kristen had the orchid that was going to save them. And Kristen had offered the orchid in exchange for joint custody with her daughter. But then somebody stole the orchid. That wasn't her fault. She just wants to be able to see her kid. I can't say that's a bad thing.
Is it too much? I just want to see my daughter.
Right.
Apparently, Brady pulling a gun isn't very Brady-like.
And her daughter wants it too.
Brady pulling a gun isn't very Brady-like. Brady has a very sanctimonious attitude, but it's okay if he does it. Right. And apparently, Brady is also Victor's grandson. So Brady's a Kariakis.
Yes.
Kraken. He's a Kraken.
Yeah. He's a Kraken.
Yeah.
So much learned today here at Days for Dummies. We learned about producers.
We had a good class.
We learned about writers. We learned about these characters. We learned about the history of people in the loony bin. We speculated. We talked way too much about General Hospital, but it's the 10th Floor channel.
You got 4 soaps left. They're going to intersect. It's just how it goes.
If I knew more about Young and the Restless and Bold and Beautiful.
I've stopped myself a few times. I think I mentioned Young and the Restless once, but I've stopped myself a few times from bringing up the other ones because I know that not everybody watches those two.
Even I know even less about those. I know
a little bit more about Young and the Restless.
I was going to say, eventually we'll get one of these shows going for all 4 of the soaps, Matt.
Maybe. I don't know if I have time to watch all 4, but maybe you and Ma can work on it. I'll give you the broadcast key.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know if I necessarily have to be middle frame of all of the shows that are on the 10th floor.
We'll get a Matt cardboard cutout. I gotta tell you, real quick, I showed my 95-year-old great aunt the podcast.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, that's you. And then she went, and who's your young man?
Apparently, I'm very handsome to straight old ladies.
Oh, yes, she was quite enthralled. And I was just like, she doesn't understand technology. She was confused that you were in California and we've never actually physically been in the same place. It's really funny.
I have the only person that I've ever podcasted with on this channel that I've physically been in the same room with is my mom.
And you once shared a body.
I made him.
Oh, goodness gracious. And in closing, Michelle is going to shout from her seat here in the lecture hall her hot take, and it's going to piss off a lot of people. Maybe.
I agree with her. I don't disagree.
She has always felt that the good characters, the Bradys, the Hortons, the Blacks, have always been very hypocritical and sanctimonious against the DiMeras. The DiMeras do not get a pass, but we always do, because we're the good ones and they're the bad ones.
Right. And even when we do bad things, we're doing it for good reasons. And they might think they're doing it for good reasons, but they're bad. So their reasons are all bad. I don't disagree.
Well, I guess that can come up for debate next week. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over the course. Jacarius, asked if we saw the preview for next week. I haven't seen the preview for next week. I don't really ever see previews. But, it'll be good. It's always good.
Yeah.
When's it bad? Name a time Days of Our Lives has been bad. Like, honestly. Name a time. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
Well, I like John Black better this week. He seemed less weird to me.
He'll grow on you like a warm and loving fungus. He really will. He's John Black. You can't help but to love him, but also always be like, but why? Why do you keep raising your eyebrow like that? He's very much like your dad, where you're just like, please stop being weird around my friends. You're not as funny as you think you are.
That's more my brother. Brother. Yes.
That's kind of,
It's all right. He doesn't watch the show.
This is my dad, John Black.
Dad, just
all right. Thanks for driving us, Dad. You can go now.
Exactly. Just like us, we can go now too. Class dismissed. The bell has rung. Ring, 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 ring. I don't know. I'll come up with the outro. I came up with an intro. We did attendance, but I'll come up with an outro as well.
Yeah.
Get on out of here, folks. Go spend some time with your classmates. I've been Matt.
I've been Kat.
And I've been Angela.
And we'll catch you next time. Oh, what? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I've been Angela with Matt and Kat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. You can say
I wanted to keep the rhyming thing going. Sorry. We'll work on it.
I don't know. We'll figure out how to get you to rhyme with Matt and Kat. I don't think there's a way. But go spend some time with your class. We'll just see you in a half hour for GH, you guys. Bye.